Money can be a very sensitive topic that some people don't really like to talk about it, especially couples. I don't know why. But today we're here to share how we manage our finances as immigrant couples living in the UK. We're going to be telling you guys like basically everything about money. We're talking money in today's video. And I love watching this kind of videos, and that is why I decided to share ours, because I would say that 2022 especially was like relatively a good financial year for us. So I feel like if we come here to talk about money, how we manage our finances as a couple, a young couple for that matter, you know, trying to live and survive in the UK, I'm sure it would benefit a lot of people out there. So I have my husband here, and together we'll be sharing with you guys how we basically manage our finances living in the UK. My name is Tochi. You guys are welcome to today's video, and my husband is here. He will introduce himself for those who don't know him, and then we'll just dive right into the video.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching. My name is Dozie, and I'm happy to be here today. So we hope to share how we manage our money, like how we spend it basically, obviously. So yeah, just stick around, and I hope you learn one or two things from us today.
So yeah, it will take a question and answer format. We have some questions we'll just be answering as regards how we basically manage, budget and spend our money. So basically, I would say we talk about it and we have an understanding of who is responsible for what. For instance, all the bills, everything about house bills goes out of his account, right? And then when it comes to maybe groceries and kids' clothes, basically just upkeep money, it goes out of my account. So I think that's how it's been working for us. Because there are times we even come and ask me like, how much are you guys paying for energy or electricity bill? I don't even know, because he takes care of that. So it's just, that's how it works for us, and we have come to an understanding that this is the way it goes, and it's been working for us so far.
So basically, I think because I first came in and I moved to the house first, and all the debits were out of my account, so it's kind of like it's going from my account. But I think with regards to this, we sort of like, we talk about money, yes, but I think we also like have things we want to do, and sort of like after we've done the basic things you have to do every month, like paying for mortgage, pay for energy bill, broadband, all those little things, we don't know what the remaining money should go into. So basically, I think we always, at every point, as a couple or as a family, we always have like what we are aiming for with regards to our money, and sort of like once we've done the important and the basic things, we sort of like focus the remaining money on those things. So we talk about it. We don't sort of like differentiate whose money is which. We don't calculate, oh, this month I spent more, you spend next month. I don't think we do all that. We just like any money that comes into the house to either of us, sort of like is everybody's money, is the way we look at it. So it doesn't matter that all the bills leave my account. It doesn't worry me as much, because I assume that money coming into her account can go into other things, if that makes sense. So we try to have like set goals, which most of the times, you know, we agree on it. This is what we want to do collectively. Then after the basic things have gone out, we then focus that money on those goals that we've set.
Yeah, because and there are some times when we notice that, oh, the bills from his account is now so much. I can now take up some things from my own accounts, like insurance.
To be honest, like out of the, I don't know how many direct debits I have right now.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I have quite a lot. I used to know how many I had before, but all of a sudden I lost count.
It just increased, yeah.
Yeah, but I think there's maybe just like 2 from her account, or 1, 2 maybe, her phone and maybe our life insurance. But literally every other direct debit we have in this house goes from my account. So it's almost like in, garbage out with my account. It's a bit of a mess, but yeah, that's what it is right now.
Yeah. I just feel like now we're more intentional about how we spend money, how we budget, like having like a tracker, budgeter and everything. But we didn't have all those then, or we didn't really think about having it. We were just living our lives as it goes. Like,
we've obviously grown and able to do things better as the year goes by. But I'm looking back and I'm thinking, for instance, like when we did our wedding, we're not in debt to do our wedding, right? We're not in debt. So obviously that takes some financial discipline and planning to achieve. That's the truth.
No, we've always been financially disciplined.
Yeah, so where I'm going to is that I'm not quite sure the fundamentals has changed. I think what has changed is maybe we have a bit more sources of income now, and maybe we are seeing much more money now, so we feel like we need to make something out of it compared to then. Not like we were, begging at that time, but we didn't have a lot of sources of income, so it was easy to know what comes in and know what goes out, if that makes sense. But I don't think now is that we are seeing different aspects that we can make money from, and we are feeling like we need to manage it properly. So we are talking more about money now. But then there were not so many means that money comes in, so it wasn't much of a conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not. I don't think a lot has changed. We've always had financial goals. We've always had savings. Remember all the things we've always had them, right? But I think now, as we are growing with the kids as well, we are realizing the importance of planning our money very well, because we have kids to take care of, we have family back in Nigeria,
we have bills
to pay, and we have debts in quotes. So we need to plan ourselves. So that's why it's like we talk about money a lot now.
And of course, growth.
Yeah, and growth,
better understanding of
everything that comes with it. And again, is that this environment we live in is a very delicate one. Like in the UK, for instance, if you don't get paid for 3 months or for 4 months, you'll most likely be homeless, because everybody pays rent every month. Mortgage payment is every month. But back in Nigeria, you pay rent once a year, so you can do anyhow you want to do. So here you have to be very careful with your money, just to make sure that you don't get into trouble, something like that. So I think that's what has really changed over the years. I think moving abroad, having kids, have more responsibilities, has made us a bit more
financially responsible.
It made us more responsible, obviously, and realize we should manage our money better.
Yeah. So we don't have a joint account. Obviously, we have our separate accounts, but we both have access to all of them. So we basically just run it jointly, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there's no account that is in our both names, right?
Yeah.
But sort of like I know what goes on in our accounts, or if I want to know, I'll know, and she obviously knows what goes on in my account. If she wants to know, she knows. But all of our bank accounts, all of our savings, anything that has to do with an account that has money, whether it's a savings or a stocks and shares or a current account, it's in our individual names. But obviously, it's not a secret to the next person what happens. So we're very much transparent about what happens in each of our accounts.
Yeah.
Because these days, the bank account is just like your phone.
Yeah.
Because everything is in your hands. So having one account in our name, I don't know, but I just feel like...
Yeah, I don't think it makes sense in our case, because really basically we run our accounts jointly. So even if we want to take up any project now, we can decide to just use one account for like maybe savings and for the project or something. Except we want to open like a business account.
I think for a family or for a couple, I think what's most important is like you guys are meeting your responsibilities. It's not about having an account in two of you's name. But don't get me wrong, if you don't want to know if you want to have your account completely private away from your partner or from your spouse, it's perfectly fine. It's your choice, right? So in that case, people feel like you prefer a joint account where the bills go out from there, you contribute to that account every month. It's perfectly fine. I think, but for us, we just kind of like we're transparent, and we've always been transparent about money. So we've not seen a need why we should have an account where we contribute equally into that bank account, if that makes sense. Because we've had different phases in our lives, financially, earning wise, at different points, who earns more, who earns less, things like that. So maybe a joint account over the years wouldn't have been a fair approach, if that makes sense, to how would have operated, right? So we haven't seen the need for. Maybe if in the future we see a need for it, fine. But at this time, I don't think there's any need for that, really.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is the fact that we are just open and we always talk about money. And also, we have tried to meet all the financial goals we set for ourselves. So yeah, I think it's working for us like that so far.
Like we've said, right, we are transparent about what we earn. That means she knows what I earn and I know what she earns, and it's always been like that
from day one.
From day one, we've never like what I earn has never been a secret to her, and some people worry about it. Some men like, oh, she doesn't need to know what I earn. But I think it all comes down to individuals, right? And I feel like your wife or your partner is like the next person to you. So some people are scared that if she knows what you earn, she maybe make more demands or something like that. The way I see it is, if she knows what I earn and she wants to make excessive demands because she knows I earn that money, if that money goes away, she's in it with me. You get, that's my thinking about it. Now, some people may disagree. I quite understand. I understand that perfectly. But I feel like we have that trust. It's just the way I am, and sort of like I'm blessed to have somebody like her that is understanding in terms of money wise. She's not an extravagant person, so I'm not worried about her wasting whatever money that comes in. And I feel like also it's not important. It's not overly important who earns more. That's the way I see it. I know as an African, guys like, oh, you need to earn more. I don't really think so. I feel like the most important thing is both of you understanding yourselves, trusting yourself, and agreeing that you have a common goal. I think it's when you don't have a common goal as a couple that division or that competition or that strive or whatever you call it comes into play. It might sound naive to you, but that's just the way I think, and that's the way it's been working for us, right? But if you don't trust your partner enough to tell him or her what you earn, well, I don't know. You're in it, so do what's best for you, really.
Yeah, that has worked for us. He knows what I earn, everything. I know what he earns, and we have access to our accounts, and our cards are just there. Anybody just pick up. In fact, we have a particular card that we use to shop or go out to spend and everything. And then we have like a budget. We just started that recently, and I'm like, why haven't you started this all this while? We have our budgets, we have lists of things we want to do or achieve every month. We just, we are transparent with money.
But I think money is actually I know we're saying it this way and it sounds like we're transparent, but money is a very sensitive issue in many marriages, and to be honest, I would think it's one of the leading causes of breakups, maybe in marriages. I'm not into all that really, but I know a lot of couples have issues with money sometimes, especially when it is not enough. So again, like I said, if you need to look at your peculiar circumstance, right? But to be honest, I feel like if you're going to marry somebody, it's almost like trusting the person with your life. So, but of course, things have become a lot complex today in the world we live in. But we've always been that transparent, and we hope to keep it that way. And we're happy about it. And but anyway, just look at what works for you, and make sure you do what works for you.
This question, I don't know. I'm not sure we argue. I don't think we argue about money.
I'm not sure we've had an argument that is tied to money.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No, I don't.
We have a lot of things in common, and our upbringing as well, and our approach to money, and our beliefs, right? And that's having those things in common sort of like has shaped how we relate. So I can't remember off the top of my head having any argument that was caused by money. Maybe she spent money and I'm angry. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure really, and I'm not sure.
No, I don't.
I mean, we've been married for 5 years now. It's not a long time.
Almost 6 years.
Going to 6 years now.
Going to 6 years.
I
don't think so. No. I think we've always had an understanding, and it has been working for us. Maybe it's not an argument, but the only issue I would say I have with money is the fact that I can't really surprise you. Like,
no, I'm not sure that's what the question.
Yeah,
I mean, looking at arguing about
argument now, I just remember, like, guys, the truth is, guys, I need suggestions in the comment section, right? I really can't surprise him because, obviously we have access to our money. We're talking about that since, and
No,
if
I
I want to
think-
maybe withdraw money to buy something for you, you would know,
I
like,
think the
okay,
reason
you'll
why
be
I can't-
expecting it,
the
but
reason why she can't surprise me because she doesn't really know how to plan it. Now, as a person, I don't really care about being surprised. Like, I'm not. It's not really my thing. Like, if you surprise me with a big thing now, I may be happy about it, but it's like I don't expect it, and I don't expect people to go out of their way. Like, I'm that kind of person. I always want to be the one doing for people, if that makes sense. But I've surprised her a few times, but I think she not being able to surprise it because she doesn't know how to plan it. I'm not saying this so that she'll go and do it. That's not why I'm saying it, but I'm saying it because I've done it many times. Even this last Christmas, I've done it many times. But it's not a big deal to me, really. It's not a big deal.
yeah, but that's just my only issue. But we don't argue about money. Yeah.
With this question, I think, again, it would have been a valid question if we do things separately. But we don't do things separately, so it's not about who pays for things. We just believe that any money we have, if we have something to do, anybody can pay for it.
Yeah.
We don't even come to that point where we say, you go pay for that. We just say, can we pay for this? Where do we get the money from? Is the money in my account? I'll pay. If it's in her account, she pays. So we don't sort of like stress ourselves on, oh, I paid for shampoo yesterday, you pay for relaxer tomorrow. No, we don't do all that. Where's the money going to come from? Do we have it? Anyway, if we have it, we go for it. If we don't have it, we just leave it.
Yeah, that's how it's been working for us, basically. And we, like we mentioned in the beginning, we just know how things get taken care of in our house. And then I feel like we also like talk about it, try to evaluate and reevaluate. For instance, we feel like, oh, we spent so much money last month. Let's, check, we'll do some checks and balances and say, okay, what do we spend our money on? What took our money like this? No, we need to cut down. That also helps us.
Coming into 2023, we have like clear-cut goals we want to achieve. We have targets, like an amount of money we want to, invest into certain things we've mapped out to do. So we are seriously working towards those things, and we've sort of agreed that that's the next step we want to take, because obviously we have young kids, and we know as they grow, it's going to be more expensive taking care of them, traveling with them, providing for them. We have family as well. We have parents. So we feel like our responsibilities will only keep increasing. So we need to sort of like increase how much we earn. So last year was a good year for us financially, like she said, from different angles, both in my career and in what she does. For this year, we also have mapped out things that we want to achieve, and we have them on paper, and we are hoping to get them done this year.
Yeah.
I feel like how much we need every year keeps increasing. I think it's ridiculous how much we spend now compared to like 2 years ago, even in the same country.
Funny enough, thinking about it, I feel like the more money you make, the more money you spend.
Yeah.
And then just to ask you, do you think that this phrase, what's the point of making money and not being able to spend it? Do you think it is quite tricky?
I feel like it depends on what people mean when they say that kind of thing, because you can be sick and not be able to spend your money. That's a different context.
No. Like, you make money, you should be able to spend your money, buy whatever you want and all that.
I feel like when you make money, there's some level of comfort you can afford yourself. I think it's okay to go for that. But don't be excessive about it, and don't eat your tomorrow today. All right? Try to prioritize your spending. Try to make sure that the important things get taken care of. Every now and again, you can afford yourself a little luxury. Why not go for it? But don't go out of your way to do things, especially to do it to show people that you're successful. That's one thing I can never do. Like, try to show people that I'm successful.
Sometimes it's good to even act broke, even when you're
I don't really see the need, because at the end of the day, whatever you have is you that will enjoy it or suffer from it. So why do people don't need to think you are successful, right? Just do what makes you happy. Yeah. That's what I think.
Yeah, I feel like it could be deceitful. In the sense that sometimes you just say, oh, I have this money, I've worked for it, let me spend it. So you just keep spending and spending, especially if you're not disciplined. But if you're disciplined, okay, you know where to draw the line.
I mean, if you say you work for money and you want to spend it, if you finish spending the money, you will have more to spend. Exactly. So that phrase will terminate at that point. You have to go and work for more money. So I feel like at the end of the day, just spend what you can afford and and just be happy.
Yeah. So what would be your advice for young couples, people who just relocated abroad, or people who are even living anywhere, right?
For young couples, I feel like once you meet somebody, and you feel like you want to be with this person for the rest of your life, I feel like it's important that you discuss your finances, like talk about money, right? Don't shy away from it. Let them tell you their understanding, what they feel about money, what their goals are, what their dreams are. If your partner is not comfortable with having a joint account or knowing what you earn or telling you what he or she earns, you have to discuss all these things and make sure that you guys can find a common ground, right? Because trust me, money is one leading cause of breakups or whatever you call it, right? So I feel like make sure you discuss all that. And I also feel like it's important that you have a plan and a budget and try to stick to it. And as much as, every couple have their different goals, right? But if a couple can agree on a financial goal and work towards it, is better than one person going behind the other person to do things, maybe to buy land or to buy a house behind your partner and things like that.
If you're open and transparent, you don't even have to go behind anybody's back.
Yeah, but people do it.
I know.
Like even in this country that we are, some people, some
heard stories. Obviously,
some people come to the UK and they still take their partner's money, take their money and go buy properties outside the country without telling their partner and things like that. So it happens, right? So
yeah, it happens. But if you're making your money and you're open and transparent, you can always do what you want to do with your money, right? So your partner knowing about it wouldn't change anything. That's if you guys are always on the same page.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. Also, I think you have to be fair and considerate. If you're not a considerate person generally, you wouldn't really understand, or when your partner is talking about money, sometimes it's just be doing you somehow in your head. You feel like, oh, this person is too entitled, or this person is spending too much, or this person. But if you're a fair and considerate person, generally, you wouldn't really have issues, when it comes to dealing with your finances and all that. Understand that you guys are in a partnership. That way it will work better.
Yeah, I think having that partnership understanding is important because, again, is that, for instance, some people may come over here and maybe let's say you're in Nigeria or Africa or Ghana or somewhere else, and the man was earning more than the woman. And they come here and the woman starts earning more than the man. So people can have issues with that, really. But again, like she said, if you're a fair person and you're a considerate person, that should not be an issue. However, the pendulum swings to whoever side it swings to in terms of earning more. If you both are in partnership, it shouldn't be an issue, because we've seen people that came over here. Before they came over here, the man was earning well, and they come here and the woman begins to earn a lot more, and it begins to cause problem. Like she starts talking to him anyhow. Sometimes those things happen. That's the truth. We're Africans. You know what I'm talking about. If you're an African, anyway, we should try and not let that get in our way, because at the end of the day, that can change anytime as well.
Yeah, something just came to my head. Like, because I'm not a man, but if I'm a man and my wife is earning more than me, why should I be bothered? I should be happy. It makes me to even relax more. Like, I don't have to work
too much. Some different relationships have different dynamics.
Yeah.
Some have been built on that, the man always being the provider, and maybe he gained his respect, or he feels like, it sort of like affects how they relate, and maybe it affects how much of leadership he provides, because it feels like he brings the money. Then when the money is not there, and to be honest, as a guy, sometimes you want to always have money as a guy.
Yeah.
You don't want to feel like you're broke and your woman is taking care of you. I don't know. it's not a bad thing, but so some guys, it may get to their head. It may not even be that the wife is the one changing her behavior. The man can just change his behavior because the wife takes any more than him.
True.
So it can be both ways. Yeah. So I feel like as a guy, if your wife earns more than you, it's not a bad thing.
It should be a good thing. You should be happy that your wife is doing well and earning money.
I mean, I don't mind, to be honest. As long as the family is taken care of and your responsibilities are met, who brings the money shouldn't be much of an issue. Just make sure that both of you are on the same page.
Yeah.
But by the way, this is not a marriage class, but when it comes to money, I think it becomes sensitive.
Yeah.
Finally, I think as a family, you should always have a budget. Like in this month, we want to spend £5 on groceries, and try and stick to it. Don't leave things that has to do with expenses, especially to chance, because before you know it, you're spending and you're spending and you're spending and you're spending, and you just go offline.
Yeah.
So try and have a budget, and if at the end of the day you have more money than you envisaged, then that excess money can go into savings or an investment or into a project. But when you don't have a budget, you tend to spend as it comes, and you may end up not realizing you've earned more money, but you've not achieved a lot more with it.
Yeah, that's true. Budgeting helps, because that helps us as well. Like I said, when there's sometimes when we're like, okay, we've spent so much this month. It tells us that because we have a tracker. Now we track our money. So the tracker tells us you spent more money in January, you spent more money in February, and we're like, no, we need to work on it. We don't have to spend this much money again. What took our money? Why did he do it? And then we come back to the drawing board and like, okay, we have to work on this and not let this happen again. And so far it's been working for us. So yeah, I think that's it. And in conclusion, there's this Cocomelon song I love so much that says, together we are a team and we can do anything. So yeah, that should also work for you as well. Understand that you and your partner, that you guys are team members, and you guys should work together to achieve your financial goals, your marriage goals, or whatever, and you'll be fine. So thank you all for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your comments in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.